Demi Lovato releases a statement after her overdose.
Moretz and Dylan O'Brien are dating.
And Ariana Grande responds to cheating rumors.
All that and more on this week's DHR Recap. Hey guys, welcome back to this week's recap of the biggest DHR stories. We have a lot to talk about today. Justin Bieber revealed the reason behind his emotional breakdown with Hailey Baldwin.
It's true, but first let's talk about Demi Lovato finally releasing a statement about her alleged overdose, and Emil had that story.
Demi Lovato had a troubling couple of weeks. We were all devastated to hear that she was hospitalized after an alleged overdose a few weeks ago, but Demi released a statement yesterday to ease the minds of all who love her. So in an Instagram post, she wrote, "I've always been transparent about my journey with addiction. What I've learned is that this illness is not something that disappears or fades with time. It is something I must continue to overcome and have not done yet. I want to thank God for keeping me alive and well. To my fans, I am forever grateful for all of your love and support throughout this past week and beyond. Your positive thoughts and prayers have helped me navigate through this difficult time." Now, in the letter, Demi also thanked her family, her team, and the wonderful people at the hospital who've been taking care of her. Most importantly, though, she addressed the process of recovery, saying she's going to take some time to focus on her sobriety. And she closed out the letter on a positive note, telling fans, quote, "I look forward to the day where I can say I came out on the other side. I will keep fighting." TMZ announced today that Demi is now officially in rehab. She took a private plane to a facility outside of California that TMZ states is one of the nation's leading facilities for addiction. They're also reporting that Demi's team is determined to get her healthy and get rid of the toxic people in her life. According to TMZ, Demi's team held a meeting this week to discuss sweeping out anyone who doesn't have her best interest in mind, and decided that any party mongers, drug users, or yes friends who allow her to get in harm's way won't be tolerated.
I'm so happy that she spoke out. It takes real courage to do that.
Yeah, and to be so honest and open. I just didn't expect that from her.
I know. You know who doesn't appreciate the honesty at all is Keemstar, who had a lot to say about her statement. Sinead has the story.
Keemstar called Demi Lovato a loser for saying addiction is an illness. Normally, Daniel Keem, who runs the YouTube channel Drama Alert, reports on other people's drama, but on Sunday, he actually found himself wrapped up in some of his own. Earlier that day, Demi Lovato had released a personal statement regarding her overdose, and in the note, which was posted on Instagram, Demi thanked her family, her friends, and her fans for their continued support, and said that she would be taking time to focus on her recovery and sobriety. But it was the first part of the statement that Keem took an issue with, because Demi wrote, quote, "I have always been transparent about my journey with addiction. What I've learned is that this illness is not something that disappears or fades with time. It is something I must continue to overcome and have not done yet." And Keem had taken to Twitter to call out Demi for her lack of accountability in the statement. He had written, quote, "Drugs are for losers. Demi should have said that in her statement. Not addiction is an illness. That makes it sound like there's no choice, but there was a choice. You don't come out of the womb with a crack pipe. At some point, you made a bad choice and did drugs. Don't be a loser." And his tweet obviously stirred up reactions from both sides. While some agreed that doing drugs is a choice, others were quick to point out that addiction is, in fact, an illness. Despite the backlash from his statements, Keem didn't back down. He also tweeted, quote, "At one point in my life, many years ago, I did a lot of coke in the club scene. I was being a loser, so I have no problem calling any other druggie a loser."
I think people understood what he was trying to say, but I also think that a lot of people think it was executed poorly.
Yeah, I mean, I wish he would come out and say that addiction is a mental illness, because it is. That's the only part I really did not agree with what he was saying. And then aside from that, I feel like he was just very harsh with what he was saying. But I do get the point. But moving on to our next story, Priyanka Chopra seems to not want us to know she's engaged to Nick Jonas, which is weird because I think we all wish we were engaged to Nick Jonas. And Nas has the scoop.
So at this moment, there has been no official confirmation of an engagement between Priyanka Chopra and Nick Jonas. And it doesn't seem like we'll be getting one anytime soon, you guys, because during a Q&A session at the Challenging the Status Quo and Forging New Paths event that was organized by the FICCI Ladies Organization and Yes Bank, Priyanka kind of sort of addressed the rumors of her yet to be confirmed engagement to Nick and basically said her personal life is hers and hers alone. So at the Q&A session, Priyanka said, quote, "My entire life, my personal life, is not for public consumption. 90% of my life is for public consumption, but 10% is for me. I'm a girl, I have the right to keep that to myself. My family, my friendships, and my relationships are things I don't need to defend or explain to anyone. I'm not running for office, so I don't think I need to give explanations. Sometimes I laugh, sometimes I get annoyed. Mostly, I tell my publicist, let it be, today's news is tomorrow's trash." In fact, Priyanka even went as far as to remove what appeared to be an engagement ring from her hand as she was leaving an airport to dodge paparazzi and keep the engagement chatter to a minimum.
Okay, I see what she's saying. I think she makes a good point. You know, we all want our privacy.
Yeah, but at the same time, you're a public figure dating another public figure. Like, we want to know just a little bit of details. You know what I mean? Just a few. And speaking of wanting to know details, you guys, word on the street is that Chloe Grace Moretz and Dylan O'Brien are possibly dating. Possibly not, but possibly. So this all went down on Tuesday night. The two arrived separately to the Nice Guy nightclub in Los Angeles. Then they left together in the same car and then went to another Hollywood hotspot called Beauty and Essex in Hollywood. And they were photographed together walking into this venue side by side. They weren't holding hands, nothing flirty that we could tell from the photos. But what's interesting about this story, you guys, is that Dylan O'Brien was once asked who his celebrity crush was. And at the time, he said it was Chloe Grace Moretz.
A special shout out to Chloe Moretz because she is the most badass little chick that I've ever seen. What she did in Kick-Ass was amazing, and I have a crush on.
Now he took back that because she was under the age at the time.
I recently updated on Wikipedia. I Wikipedia'd Chloe Moretz and I saw how old she was. So I'd like to take that back and I'd like to retract and say that I think Chloe Moretz is a very cute and talented girl.
But it seems like Dylan might be ready to pursue his celebrity crush. So she's now 21. Like I said, she's been single since April. Brooklyn was spotted making out with another girl, so I think that's why they broke up. And then Dylan, we're not really sure what his relationship status is right now, but he was dating Britt Robertson, but they haven't been seen together since January. So I'm not so sure they're dating. They weren't holding hands. They could just be friends.
I think that they're totally dating. You don't, I mean, he said she was his celeb crush at one point, but you know, there's a lot of mixed feelings about this. You know what there's also a lot of mixed feelings about? Ariana Grande and Pete Davidson, because a lot of people thought that like she cheated on Mac with Pete, but she's finally responded to those rumors.
We all know and love the Carpool Karaoke series on The Late Late Show with James Corden, and we just found out that our girl Ariana is going to be on an upcoming episode, and she posted about her day of filming on Twitter, writing, "That was the best day ever, James Corden. Thank you so much to you and your incredible crew and band and writers. So much fun. Can't wait for y'all to see what we've been up to." But apparently, while filming, Ariana also injured herself, you guys, somehow. She posted a photo of her hand bandaged up and captioned it "bleeding and smiling," followed by a tweet saying, "But I love my bandage. It looks so sick, James Corden. I'll be okay one day." Now, we don't know why or how Ari injured her hand just yet, but I guess only time will tell since the whole thing was probably caught on tape, or at least we hope it was. But one thing that we do know right now is that Ari did not cheat on Mac Miller with Pete Davidson. Ari took some time to respond to people in the comment section of her Instagram recently and shut down rumors. One person said, "Ari cheated on Mac," and Ari responded saying, "I didn't, but go off. Can you go stand someone else? You're boring." And then that same user also wrote, "Pete Davidson will be the song I skip all the time." And Ari fired back saying, "Aw, boo, effing who? Alexa, play Pete Davidson." So there you have it. Ari didn't cheat on Mac Miller, if you take her word for it.
I'm so happy she finally said something because Ari's been getting some flack since she announced she's with Pete Davidson, months.
I know, and it won't stop, I don't feel. But guess who else is getting some flack, you guys?
Who?
And Renee. Kim Kardashian! Because you were telling us this week about how she was jumping up and down to a Tyga song.
So yesterday, Kim took to her Instagram stories to share a clip of herself wearing a white bikini while jumping on a trampoline. And while we're sure that's just a typical Wednesday afternoon activity for Kim, fans were very surprised at Kim's song choice to have playing in the background, which was Taste by none other than Kylie's ex, Tyga.
Slide on the pimp gang with my pinky ring.
The clip is 2 seconds long, but there's no denying that that is Tyga's song. And Tyga clearly approves of Kim listening to his song because he then reposted her clip with the hashtag Taste. You can't blame the guy for soaking up that kind of free publicity. It is the Kardashians. But a lot of fans called Kim out for bouncing to Kylie's ex's song, with one tweeting, quote, Kim Kardashian listening to Tyga on her Insta story is really confusing me, LOL. Well, another commented, quote, you think Kylie noticed that Kim was playing Tyga on her Snapchat post? Followed by a raised eyebrow emoji. Honestly, we can't imagine Kylie's too upset with Kim's choice of background music, considering she's far too busy being a mom to Stormi and being madly in love with Travis Scott. Okay, I don't see this as a problem. Like, if anything, maybe a little awkward.
I know, I'm on the fence about it, but since Kylie and Tyga seem to be on good terms, I think this is in like the safe zone for her to be doing this, but that's just me.
Yeah, plus Kylie's got a lot of her own stuff to worry about, like her new man, Travis Scott, and her new baby. And speaking of baby, Justin Bieber and Hailey Baldwin
Oh my gosh.
were seen crying earlier this week, and Justin finally revealed why they were having an emotional breakdown. Earlier this week, Justin and Hailey were both photographed sitting on rocks holding each other while they cried as they left on bikes. They both appeared to be very distraught, with Justin wiping his eyes. And then they were seen again later at a cafe, still going through something while Justin was holding Hailey's head for comfort. But things seemed to perk up the next day because Justin was seen getting a haircut with Hailey right by his side. So thankfully, whatever happened did not affect their relationship. Justin, as you may have noticed, has been growing his hair out all summer long, and I guess he decided it was time for a chop, but it was more like a trim. Anyway, later that night, TMZ caught up with the Biebs and asked him about the whole crying sesh, and it appeared he was going to ignore the question at first, but then right before getting into his car, he held up a book by Timothy Keller called The Meaning of Marriage and said, quote, this. Then when asked what he meant, he added, quote, you got good days and you got bad days. It's not real if it doesn't have any bad days. Well, I think we all need to get that book now, but you guys, moving on to our very last story of the day. A very unfortunate one. There are reports that Tristan was seen with a mysterious woman and he might be cheating again. Tristan Thompson was just spotted with another woman in Toronto where he was teaching at a basketball camp. Apparently, an employee at the center exclusively spoke to Radar Online and revealed, quote, there was a woman in Tristan's entourage and it wasn't Chloe. And fine, just because there's a woman in Tristan's entourage doesn't necessarily mean he's cheating again, but the source also added, quote, they looked like more than friends because he had his hand on her lower back when they arrived. There was definitely something there. As for what the girl looked like, according to Radar Online's source, she was a beautiful young girl who looked as if she could be a model. Apparently, the girl hung out with Tristan's security detail in the locker room while he was teaching, and Tristan appeared to be, quote, in a hurry to get back to his female companion because he jetted out of the center the minute it was over.
This is the part of the show where we talk to you guys. We've been reading all the comments this week and we have a couple that are our favorites. I did want to address this one. This is from Mizra's Joe Sugg, who said, no, Dylan and Britt are still together. He said something about it in an interview not too long ago. They've been together for about 7 years and they're literally relationship goals. That comment got over 274 likes on it. Now, I have to be honest with you. I do not have my finger on the pulse of every ounce of Dylan O'Brien news that's happened over the last couple of months. But I do know, I think we haven't really seen them out together in a while. And I'd love to find out what interview that is just for my own curiosity. But it is really unusual, even if they are still together, for him to be out partying with another girl
who he said he had a crush on at one point.
I know. So it's just, if it were me, if my husband had a celebrity crush and I saw him at dinner with said celebrity crush, because he's in entertainment as well, I'd be like, no, I don't care if you're just is work or friends or whatever, it's not happening.
Yeah, I agree. And a comment I'd like to address is from Lexi, who had some things to say about Keemstar's backlash. So Lexi said, Keemstar isn't wrong. Don't get me wrong, I'm definitely a Levatic, but that doesn't mean I agree with her choices. And of course, I want her to get better because I've been a fan for 10 years and care about her well-being, but addiction starts from the decision you made in the first place. Sadly, a dumb decision she made when she was 17 still affects her 8 years later. And I totally hear what you are saying, Lexi, because obviously, don't do drugs. Like, message to take away from this video, don't do drugs. For me, I was a little offended by what Keemstar audience are said just because of how harsh I guess he was, given Demi had just gone through an overdose and maybe we almost lost her. It was just a sensitive time.
All right, that is it. It was a really busy week, you guys. But let us know in the comments which story was your favorite, and let's speculate, you know? There's a lot of juicy stuff in this episode.
Oh yeah, and you guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we're gonna be back here 6 days a week and you don't wanna miss us. All right guys, we'll see you later. Bye. And maybe Priyanka's still hiding their engagement, but you know who's not? Nick Jonas. Click right over here to get the details on Nick kind of confirming the engagement.
It's true. And don't forget to subscribe, you guys. Thanks. We'll see you next time.